Hi, I'm Evie Grosbeck, and welcome to my podcast, Cleats Off, where a high school soccer player discusses the ins and outs of what it means to play girls' soccer in America. In this first episode, I'm going to discuss a seemingly obvious but often overlooked topic, overtraining, something almost every athlete deals with but doesn't acknowledge until it's too late. Like most student athletes, most of my life revolves around school and sports, and like most student athletes, I tend to overdo it when it comes to training. For about half the year, I am often doing too many trainings a week, multiple trainings a day, or training for too long. This is mostly because I love playing soccer. I find joy in being good at it. This paired with my competitive spirit make me train almost every day during season. And because of this, I have a tendency to get terrible shin splints. This affects everything from trainings to games to even just my everyday life. I've played through tournaments while my lower legs feel like they're going to break in half. I've also been taken out of games early for the same reason. Coaches have told me that if I'm in pain, I should rest, while at the same time telling me that it can't be that bad because it's just shin splints. If you didn't know, shin splints are a mild to severe pain along the tibia caused by inflammation in the tissues in the surrounding area. And even though you may think shin splints are just a normal part of the soccer experience, it's not normal. It's just common. There's a difference. Shin splints are often caused by overtraining. The muscles, tendons, and bone tissues become so overworked mostly as a result of training harder, longer, and more often than the body is used to in a short period of time. Shin splints are more common in soccer because seasons start very quickly. Athletes like me go from having 1 to 2 practices a week to training up to 6 days a week with games. On top of this, breaks are not common in the middle of season. Weeks where teams don't have games, they still have practices, which doesn't give athletes true time to rest. And the only thing that helps shin splints is rest. If not treated, shin splints can turn into stress fractures on the tibia, taking athletes out of competition for months. And this is just one example. Overtraining, when paired with long, strenuous training periods, can be very detrimental to not only the body but also the brain. It can cause stress, anxiety, and burnout in more areas than just the sport. For example, overtraining leaves less time for schoolwork at night. So it can make athletes especially stressed about assignment due dates and upcoming tests they haven't had time to study for. It can also cause burnout in athletes' social lives. Often I'm so tired from training during the season that when I get free time, I tend to just rot in my bed. My excuse is usually that I have seen my friends all week at both school and soccer and that I want a day to myself. This is a totally normal thing, but when it becomes an every week thing, an every month thing, it can become strenuous on my friendships and my relationships with my family. There are many more side effects of overtraining, and every person will show it differently. It can emerge as trouble sleeping, irritability, constant fatigue, muscle pain, brain fog, recurring injuries, and even overtraining syndrome. You may experience one of these or even all of these while overtraining. And even though athletes, most of the time, only experience a couple of these symptoms, every athlete experiences something called temporary lactic acidosis. This is a side effect of strenuous exercise. You may know it as the burning feeling in your muscles while sprinting from box to box, and it can be something worsened with overtraining. Lactic acidosis is caused by a buildup of lactic acid in the body. It is a byproduct of the anaerobic process called lactic acid fermentation. Now, to show how lactic acid fermentation is created, we have to look at what our body uses for energy, ATP. ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is our body's energy source. Normally it is created in large amounts through a complex system that takes place in our mitochondria called cellular respiration. But during hard exercise, like soccer, the body cannot pump enough oxygen into the muscles to create enough ATP for movements. The reason we need oxygen is because it is the final electron acceptor in this process. The electrons from this process have to go somewhere, and so they are accepted by oxygen, turning it into water. Normally, during this process, the body starts turning glucose into lactate to create ATP for cells. This is normally fine because the liver will eventually turn the lactate back into glucose for the body to turn into pyruvate, which is normal and completely healthy during cellular respiration. Though, when it builds up in the body, it can lower the pH of blood cells, which eventually can denature the proteins in cells, causing them to die. This can lead to nausea, fatigue, body aches, and in extreme cases, liver failure and delirium, which can cause drops in performance and longer recovery times. Anyone who loves playing soccer can agree that too much training isn't worth it when paired with these symptoms. Though extreme lactic acidosis is very rare, it is possible because we create lactic acid every time we exercise, and your chances of getting it increase the more you overtrain. There are many reasons for overtraining, like high standards from coaches, parents, or even athletes themselves. There's also the need for improvement or even just the love of the sport, like me. The first steps in stopping overtraining are realizing that you're overtraining and figuring out why you're doing it. This may look like an internal reflection, listening to your body, or even listening to the people who love you when they tell you that you're overdoing it. Doing what is best for your body is always more important than what you think is best for your sport. For me, it was finally choosing to listen to my body. What I thought was a normal thing that wasn't that serious was actually my body signaling to me that it needed a break. I have learned that easing into my seasons and trying to speed up my recovery time are the best ways of keeping my legs healthy and strong. The only way to stop overtraining is to just take a break. This can be hard to do, but it always has more benefits than it does drawbacks. Now, if you feel that you are wanting to train more, but your body just can't handle it, efficient recovery is the best way of allowing your body to do more work without pushing it to its limit. That's next episode's topic, though. So we'll start up where we left off. Listen to your body, and I'll catch you next episode.